Hello, we are going to look at BESTdata software from Basler Electric, and today we're just going to walk through the navigation buttons. As a ComTrade viewer, we're going to open a file, and previous ones I'd shown how to open a zip. In this particular one, we're going to open up individual fault records, looking at the .cfgs. Because I'm only looking at one, maybe I want to add additional files to this view. So I can click the Add button, and I can click additional circuits and or digital channels. Let's say go ahead and grab a digital channel there as well, and I can just start populating my view. Once I have all my data up, if I want to remove something for some particular reason, I can remove it, in the opposite fashion. Export is going to export all this in a PDF type format. Otherwise, you can take screenshots or do whatever else you need to do to demonstrate and to record what you're trying to view and analyze. There is a reports button. The reports is going to show the text-based data that is in those ComTrade records. So maybe that's a sequence event log, maybe it's the configuration data, but basically stuff that you can read through from a list perspective of what is in that device. There's a save and print that will save, again, this data that you've pulled up on the screen, either in print format or just saving this analysis. There is also a save window layout. So if I'm navigating and moving these windows and I have a particular perspective that I want to see over and over again, I can do that and I can show them in a customized layout perspective. I'm going to go ahead and move some of these windows around as I'm playing around. Working my way from left to right, my analog is going to be my waveforms, for all practical purposes. Digital is going to be hidden or shown based upon that button. And then phasers is the third one you're going to see. And when I show my phasers, I can see my phasor diagrams. Again, we can get into specifics of what these particular screens are used for later. I just want to show you that they're available. Last thing on the phasers is if you click any of the specific phasers, you're going to see a trajectory window pop up, which is a very handy tool to see the fault evolution through time. Trigger is going to show you the trigger line of when that fault was captured, and that is helpful because protected relays and other devices can record back in time, depending upon the device you're speaking about, of course. But we'll have what's called pre-fault cycles, and that way you can see when it actually triggered the recording versus when the condition may have began itself. The zero line is just a user-friendly thing to show where 0 volts is, let's say, or 0 amps in this particular example. The legend and the name are going to be on the left and the right, and you can hide either or both of those as you wish. Quite often I'm going to select whatever channels I would want from the legend and then hide that to get it out of my way. Pan and zoom are going to be clicking and dragging to show myself in time, to show myself a bigger or smaller window. If I'm using the zoom button, I can select and grab a certain chunk of time and it will zoom into that. Zoom in and out buttons are going to do that, but with click buttons instead. If I go back to pan, I can also select multi or not multi time stamped data points. So if I hover over that data, I can see a bunch of current magnitudes and such. If I click the word multi so it's unchecked, it's only going to show this single channel that I'm hovering over. Again, whichever one is going to be hovered over is one that's shown for non-multi. If I click multi, it's going to show all of them. Gains and scale matches is basically going to show the channels with respect to each other based upon which setting you have set up. The configure I'm going to go into quite a bit more detail in other videos, but effectively this is going to show permanently which channels are included in my analysis. The frequency, for example, I might turn off. But later we're going to get into virtual channels and phasor groups that starts getting into math and really customizing how these views are analyzed in the data. The time skew and samples per cycle aren't going to be manipulated in every fault analysis, but if you have timestamps that are not aligned based upon, let's say, your clock synchronization signals being different, you can use your time skews to align those times. So we're talking apples to apples and 0 milliseconds to 0 milliseconds. Similarly, samples per cycle is going to be variable, in some devices, depending upon how fast that device is sampling. And you want to make sure, again, those samples per cycle are correlated, within a certain view. And that way, again, your time records are all respective to each other based upon whatever that samples per cycle is. So that's the short view of the navigation buttons. Please come back for other videos with BESTdata and other Basler electric products. Thank you very much.